Chicago, the Super Bowl is coming up. I don't know, it was supposed to be this weekend or next weekend, and the Chicago Cubs are in it for the first time in like 20 years. And do you know what? I don't fucking care. But everybody's really all excited around here about that. And for some strange reason, there is a suspicious amount of Green Bay fans in the Chicago area, which is something I don't understand. But I don't understand sports. Maybe it's because I always sucked at them. I can understand playing sports. I can understand going to see a live sporting event, but just the team loyalty thing, I don't get that, really. I was walking through a grocery store one day when I lived in upstate New York, and there was a woman there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Buffalo better win this weekend, blah, 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 blah." You know, better win or what? What the fuck does what happens with some sort of sports franchise have anything to do with your life whatsoever? It doesn't. And, like, my former stepfather, he used to watch every single Cubs game. And my sister, she watches, like, every single Yankees game. And, you know, if you're into that, I just... There's too many fucking games in the season. There's just not enough tension, I guess, for me to get into it. It's not like watching a series, you know, like when you watch The Shield or something like that and you get really into a TV series and you're waiting for the next episode. It's just like, it's just so anticlimactic, you know, just watching baseball game after baseball game. I can barely sit through a sports game on television to begin with, let alone like an entire season of something. And a lot of, you know, they're just a bunch of overpaid people swinging, you know, bats or throwing pigskins, and then they go home after the game, you know, and blow coke off a hooker's tits or something like that. There's really... But people, they make it the center of focus of their life, and sports is just so huge in America. It's hard to believe how much stock people put in sports, you know. They're fucking clueless about politics. I mean, you go watch, like, Jay Leno, you know, the street walking, and you see the people, and, you know, they don't even know who the fuck George Washington is, but, you know, they know everything about their favorite sports team. And, it's really funny to see, and I'm sorry to the Cubs fans, but really, they lose year after year after year. A couple years ago, they came pretty close, but people just have this diehard devotion, you know. It's gonna be the Cubs year, it's gonna be the Cubs year, and they just keep fucking losing, you know? Even the White Sox have won already. And if you've never really been to Chicago, you know, the White Sox are on the south side, which is really like the shitty part of the city, and the Cubs are on the north side, like up in Wrigleyville and stuff, and you know, the north side is where all the rich people live, so it's kind of like this, you know, middle class and upper class versus the, I don't know, the working man mentality. And you know, a lot of people from the south side hate the north siders, but I don't know, the Cubs are owned by the Tribune Company. This is what I understand. They're owned by the Tribune Company, and they're just really tight-fisted, and, you know, they run it on a shoestring budget, whatever they can get away with, because they know that Wrigley Field is going to be packed every game, even if it's the worst season in the history of the Cubs. People are still going to shell out money to go watch the Cubs play. And that's one of the reasons that they keep losing, because as long as people show up, then the people that own the team don't have to pay out money to get them to win, to get the fans to show up. So it's sort of like a vicious cycle. And you know, I'm in a minority, because I wish the Cubs nothing but the worst. I hope they never win again, seriously, just because it will piss people off, and people will just keep rooting for them regardless. And so to me, if I grew up in Chicago, I probably would have turned my backs on the Cubs a long time ago. But that's what I don't understand. I mean, just following a sports franchise, it's just a name, it's just an image. It's like rooting for, the fucking Trix Rabbit, maybe this is the year that Trix Rabbit is gonna get a bowl of Trix. He's an icon. The Cubs, it's an institution. It's an icon or whatever. I don't even know if I'm using the right word, but I think you understand what I mean. People come and go, managers come and go, everything like that. And what does it mean? The Cubs will win and everybody will go, that's great. And then the next year it'll be like, okay, it's just because they haven't won in like 80 or 90 years or something like that. And it was the same way with the Red Sox. A lot of people in upstate New York were big Red Sox fans, and I was kind of disappointed that they won. I wish the Yankees would have beat them. So whenever people ask me what baseball team I like, I always say the Yankees, because you're either a Yankee fan or you hate the Yankees. And so that's why I always just say I'm a Yankees fan, because people hate the Yankees. But I don't think I will ever understand the level of commitment and passion that people get over sports, when it's just like it makes no difference on my life whatsoever what happens in sports. Team wins one year, loses another. There's just another season after that. Who the fuck cares? But people are out there right now buying huge plasma TVs so that they can watch the Super Bowl. And but you ask somebody, who won the Super Bowl 15 years ago, they'll be like, you'll get the occasional sports nut who just know all that shit, but they'll struggle and be like, I don't remember really. I remember the Buffalo Bills losing a lot in the 90s, and that was pretty funny. Like, some of the games where they had it in the bag and then they fucking lost. Anybody ever see that play where the guy's running down the field and he gets within a yard of the end zone? This was the Buffalo player. He gets within a yard of the end zone and he starts doing this like victory dance or whatever, and then he gets fucking tackled by the Dallas guy. And then that was it. They blew it. They blew the Super Bowl like 4 times. It was fucking great. Just that's what sports is. Teams getting filled with hubris and having massive payrolls and like, yeah, we're gonna win, and then they just lose. That's why I also like when the Yankees lose too, because George Steinbrenner deserves to lose out on the millions of dollars that he pays, because he just writes a blank check. So, I don't know. If somebody could ever explain to me why sports matters, it would be, forget the meaning of life. I want to know why sports is relevant, or, why it is as relevant as people make it out to be. That is the great philosophical mystery of all time. So maybe somebody could explain that to me. You could resurrect Plato or something, so that could be explained to me.